Have you ever been in a conversation and suddenly you feel like you need a translator? Yeah, you're not alone. It seems like the language gap between generations is getting wider and wider. So today, we're going to build a little bridge across that gap and decode the slang that defines today's youth. You hear something like this and your brain just kind of short circuits, right? NPC? Vibes? What does that even mean? It might sound like total nonsense, but believe me, phrases like this are popping up in conversations everywhere. So, if you're feeling a little lost in the sauce right now, don't even worry about it. We're going to use a simple, made-up chat as our guide to figure all this stuff out. Let's meet our cast. We've got Ron the Millennial, Ramz from Gen Z, and Ramana, our Gen Alpha. Okay, let's start with Gen Z. This is the generation that really grew up with the internet shaping how they talk. Their slang, it's often this mix of super confidence, online culture, and just a totally different way of seeing the world. Let's hear what Ramz has to say. And here we go. Our millennial, Ram, is stressing about homework, but Ramz, he's not bothered at all. He just says he's built different. Now, he's not talking about being a bodybuilder. This is all about a mindset. So at its core, saying you're built different is really just about having this unshakable self-confidence. It means you feel like you've got some special skill or you're just wired in a way that lets you handle pressure that would crush other people. It's kind of the new way of saying, don't worry, I got this. All right, so as the conversation goes on, our millennial is getting more and more confused. And Ramz, he basically diagnoses the problem. Ram has no riz. This word absolutely blew up, and for good reason. It pinpoints a very, very desirable social skill. Riz is actually super simple. It's just a shorter, cooler way to say charisma. You know, that effortless charm, that ability to just be smooth and win people over. If you've got riz, you've got game. It's like a major social currency for Gen Z. Okay, this one's a classic. The millennial starts getting a little worked up, a little stressed, and Ramz hits him with this gem. Touch some grass. This phrase is a direct shot at a culture that lives, breathes, and sleeps online. And this is just brilliant because it shows how self-aware the generation is. Telling someone to touch grass is basically saying, hey, you've lost all perspective. You're way too caught up in whatever's happening on that screen. It's the perfect prescription for a very modern problem. Log off and go outside for a minute. All right, now let's see where this is all headed. If Gen Z slang was born on the internet, then Gen Alpha slang comes from a world where the internet, video games, and real life are all just mushed together. Let's see what Ramana is bringing to the table. And here we are, full circle, back to the line that confused us in the first place. The millennial says he does homework by hand, and Ramana just dismisses it as NPC vibes. Then she immediately hits him with a 1-2 punch of agreement. Facts, no cap. That's a whole lot of slang packed into one short sentence. The big one here is NPC, and it comes straight from video games. It stands for non-playable character, you know, those background people in a game who just walk in a loop and say the same 2 lines over and over. For a generation that grew up in these huge interactive worlds, acting like an NPC is the ultimate insult. It means you're boring, predictable, just running on a script. And facts and no cap, that's just 2 ways of saying, for real, I am telling you the absolute truth. So when Ram tries to push back a little, Ramona just shuts him down with 2 more super online terms, ratio and ong. These aren't really for having a conversation. They're more like declarations you'd see on social media. Ratio is a word that was born from the mechanics of sites like X. If a reply to a post gets more likes than the original post itself, we say the original got ratioed. It's basically the internet's way of saying the crowd disagrees with you. So it's become slang for your opinion is bad and unpopular. And ong, that's just on God, a really strong way of swearing that what you're saying is 100% true. So up until now, it's just been a mess of confusion, right? The millennial is completely out of his depth, and the younger 2 are just speaking their native language. But then a little breakthrough happens. One phrase starts to close that gap. Ram finally tries to find some common ground, talking about some old school slang, and Ramana hits him with this compliment. And for the very first time, our millennial, Ram, kind of pauses and thinks, wait a minute, I think that was nice? This is the exact moment the code starts to crack. So let's break this down. Say less is such a cool way of showing you're on the same page. It means you don't even have to finish your sentence. I get it. I'm with you. And you're him is maybe one of the best compliments you can get. It means you're the guy, the main character, the one who's killing it. It's a huge sign of respect. And here you can really see how things have changed. A millennial might have just said something was cool or awesome, but now younger generations have a whole new vocabulary for praise. A good point is valid, a success is a W for win, and a great person, you're him. The feeling is the same, but the words are totally different. So, why should any of us care about this stuff? Is it just a bunch of goofy words that'll be gone in a year? I don't think so. This evolution in language tells us something way deeper about our culture, about identity, and how we all connect. So here's a quick cheat sheet of what we covered. You've got everything from built different to NPC vibes. Each one of these terms is like a little snapshot of what's shaping a generation, from gaming culture to social media to a whole new brand of self-confidence. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, a few things. First, language is never going to stand still. It's always changing, always evolving. Second, slang is a really powerful way for groups to create a sense of identity. And finally, the point isn't to start saying Riz in all your work meetings. The goal is just to understand, because that understanding, that's what bridges the gap. And that kind of leaves us with one last fascinating question, doesn't it? We've seen this shift from millennials to Gen Z to Gen Alpha. With technology and culture moving faster than ever, what words will the next generation come up with? What's going to be their version of Riz or NPC vibes? It's pretty wild to think about.